Yeah, I just never got around to it. Yeah.
For the past decade
Anyway.
or so, I've seen quite a number of opinions saying I don't understand the attraction of selecting commands in video games.
What? For the past decade or so, I've seen quite a number of opinions saying I don't understand the attraction of selecting commands in video games.
Opinion is only increasing, particularly among younger audiences who do not typically play RPGs. This quote from Final Fantasy XVI director Naoki Yoshida has resurfaced in light of the critical success of Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
As we know, no one likes Persona, no one likes Final Fantasy X, no one likes, I don't know, fucking Shin Megami Tensei, no one likes Yakuza Infinite Wealth, no one likes Pokemon. Who selecting commands? No one would play a game where you select commands. What's Persona? True.
Reigniting debates over Final Fantasy's continued shift away from turn-based combat. Many argue that Clair Obscur proves the desire for turn-based combat remains not just alive, but stronger than ever. But is that truly the case? Was Yoshida-san mistaken in his assessment? Or are people merely projecting their own preferences onto the broader gaming landscape?
I think one of the big problems that 16 has is I like Yoshi P, and I like what he's done with 14. The problem is Final Fantasy 16 is an MMO with DMC combat. That's what it is. It is a single-player MMO with DMC combat. But not in the good way, not in the good parts of a MMO. I like 16 for what it is, but it's really not a Final Fantasy game at all.
Let's talk about it.
I'm not as much of a 16 hater as some people are. There's a guy I watch a lot. Let me just find his channel. What's his actual channel name? Sebi Webs, he has spent a lot of time shit-talking FF7 Remake, Final Fantasy 16. He does not like modern Square. I'm not as down the route as him, but I'm getting there.
The legacy of the crystals.
I do like Ben Starr, though, and he does a great job as Clive.
Has shaped our history.
This film propels.
Oi! No! 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 Stop! We're not watching the ad.
For the past decade or so, I've seen
Enough.
As expected for a major gaming franchise, the announcement of Final Fantasy XVI generated widespread anticipation, with the release of its demo only heightening this excitement.
You really couldn't ask for a better taste test.
For weeks, it was the talk of the community.
I think the problem is, the problem with 16 is they've really tried to bring in fans who are not fans of Final Fantasy. They've tried to kind of make a game for everyone, right? And when you make a game for everyone, you end up making a game for no one. Like, it's a lot of Final Fantasy 14 fan service. Like, a lot of the icon designs are very much ripped from the 14 versions. A lot of the quest design kind of feels like 14 as well. It's got the Yoshi P problem of infinite walls of dialogue. Why do I have Viewable Origin whitelisted on YouTube? I have YouTube Premium. That's why.
And the belief that 16 could become the best Final Fantasy to date began to take root. However, However, much of this...
I initially felt that way. I did. And then I played it. And it's still really good. But it's not a Final Fantasy game. It's fantasy. It's Clive May Cry. That's what it is. It's Devil May Clive.
Optimism was driven by hype, and in the end, 16 proved to be merely good at best and okay at worst, falling in line with the mixed reception of the series' most recent...
Let's not put it in the same boat as 15. 15, no, stop. Stop. Cease. 15 is the best-selling Final Fantasy game of all time because this game was hyped to the fucking moon. This game was delayed upon delayed upon delayed. If 15 came out with like the same hype cycle as 16, no one would have bought fucking no one would have bought this game. 15 sucked. It was not okay. It was just bad. 13 is okay. I'll give 13 okay. 13, people shit on 13. If you actually play it, it's kind of okay. It's kind of okay. It's not good, but it's kind of okay. It does have problems on PC where, because it was originally a PS3 game, it is literally hard capped at 4 gigabytes of RAM. It is... There's a mod to fix it, but it doesn't really fix the performance.
Entries. So what went wrong? If you listen to the most vocal corners of the fan base, the blame is often placed on the series' continued departure from turn-based combat. Yet this perspective misses the mark. In reality, the game's combat was frequently praised.
Let's talk about the combat. The combat was great. Overall, really, really enjoyed it.
This one easily feels the best.
Yes. This is actually a prime example, right? It is praised, and then we have two people here who are not traditionally Final Fantasy fans. He started playing Final Fantasy frequently with 14, and then, like, do I need to explain why he's not traditionally the fan base of Final Fantasy? Like, the fighting game dude likes the fighting game Final Fantasy. Understandable.
Yes, the feel of the game is genuinely fantastic.
Now, the combat in this game is pretty pogger-wogger.
With the most common complaint being its relative ease, a problem that could be partially addressed by playing on a higher difficulty.
There's only one difficulty. Just play on the hard. Like, what are you doing? Yo, Phoenix! Anyone who plays on easy difficulties and then complains it's easy, you're stupid. Stop being stupid.
Though this option was frustratingly locked behind a completed playthrough. The real issue...
No, the people who actually were... right, yeah, the hard difficulty was. But there were people using the fucking auto-play rings. Right, auto-play rings were available from the start, where it's like, oh, auto-dodge or auto-combo or all this bullshit. I think one of the problems that 16 did have... Where is Clive right now? Where is he? I don't know where he is. This is one of the problems that 16 had. It was so easy to just lose track of where you were. I think he's actually behind Garuda right here. And Monster Hunter gets around this problem fairly easily by just making where you're standing transparent. It's a thing you can toggle on and off. Everyone toggles it on, so you can just see where the fuck you are.
Issues that played 16 were twofold.
Oh, sorry, he's down here. Oh, my bad. I thought he was over here.
First, there was a significant pacing problem, a common critique of many recent Final Fantasy titles. While the early hours of 16 were wildly praised for their strong narrative momentum, the game's pace slowed.
Oh, the pace! I'm a busy man, Mid. Her name was literally Mid. I forgot about this. Right, yeah, after Sid died, the best character in the game, why did they kill Sid? Why did you kill Sid? Sid was the thing that was holding the story, like, holding all of the enjoyment together.
Considerably as it entered the mid-game, sometimes grinding to a halt in ways that felt like unnecessary padding. This was only worse.
Well, also, it was worsened by the fact that everyone had, like, 5 minutes of dialogue and wouldn't shut the fuck up, because everyone is Alpha Nord.
by side quests that, while abundant, often felt dull and repetitive, further
MMO
dragging
questing.
down the overall experience for those who chose to engage with them. The second major issue was the
problem. Here's the problem. Some of the side quests were so good. Like the side quest where the kid had had a slave and then like killed the slave and was like, she didn't understand what she did. Like, that was such a good side quest. But like, so many others are like, deliver 3 soups, collect 5 bear asses. My problem with it, honestly, my problem with Jill isn't Jill. My problem with Jill is they didn't fucking do anything with her. Jill is such a cool character. Like, how? How do you have a character like this, and you're like, yeah, so she's just not gonna do anything. She's just gonna, like, she has an icon, and she just never fucking did anything. So, Kyrie, you make a really good point. You make a really good point. Yeah, I kind of, she kind of, like, you know what, you're actually right there. She was treated like Kyrie and has the personality of Aqua.
game's divisive ending. Although the main story received generally positive reviews, many players felt that the ending significantly undermined their overall experience. It wasn't simply a case of divided opinions. Most players seemed to either
How many FFs are there now? Do you mean numbered titles, or do you mean games in total? Because I think games in total, it's somewhere around 30. If you mean numbered titles, 20? Because you have 10-2, you have 13-2, and you have Lightning Returns. Maybe like 19. Yeah. Something like that. But if you want to talk about all games, then you have to talk about like FF Origin, Final Fantasy Tactics, and things like that.
Right, the ending.
There's also other weird ones as well.
Find it confusing, or just outright hated it. This
Alright,
lack of a satisfying conclusion ultimately cast a long shadow over the entire narrative, leaving many fans disappointed.
Yep.
With these two core issues in mind, it's clear that changing the combat system would not have resolved the flaws of 16. In fact,
that's a fair point. If 16's combat was Final Fantasy X's combat, it would like, everything else wrong with it would still be wrong with it. Like, it could have had the greatest turn-based Final Fantasy combat, and it would still be lore dumping at you. It would still have MMO questing. It would still have garbage pacing. It would still have giant zones that are mostly empty. It would still have all of these problems.
adopting a turn-based system might have made the
it would also still have the fact that there is no sensible party system, no gearing. The gearing is literally just bigger number, better person. There is no reason to ever choose your gear. You just pick whatever gives you the highest stats.
Problems even worse, given the inherently slower nature of turn-based combat. Moreover, this line of criticism overlooks the fact that a significant portion of the player base embraced the game's action-oriented approach. As for the argument that Final Fantasy betrayed its identity by moving away from turn-based combat, this claim doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Final Fantasy has always been a series that strives to innovate.
I love this. I love this. Yes and no. That's people will say this as like a phrase to throw out there. Yes, but there's always been a core spirit of what a Final Fantasy game was. Things changed when 11 came. 11 was the shift from classic Final Fantasy, because everything up to 10 was either turn-based or turn-based with a timer. It was turn-based or it was ATB. They're the same, like basically the same thing. 11 was the MMO. 12 was I don't know how to explain what 12 is. 12 is a weird creation. 13 goes back to ATB. It's faster ATB, but it's still ATB. 13-2 is also ATB. Lightning Returns is real-time combat. 14 is an MMO. 15 is... Let's not talk about 15. It's also real-time, but the combat is garbage. And then 16 is real-time. So you're these four, like, this 10 line of games. I guess 12, 11 if you want to include 10-2. Even though 10-2 stories. Which were all, basically all turn-based. And then after that point is when you see the shift.
Experimenting with different systems even in its earliest days. In fact, if someone were to ask to define Final Fantasy's combat, one might point to active time battles, ATB, but those didn't exist until Final Fantasy IV and were absent in Final Fantasy X, one of the series' most beloved titles. Or perhaps one would mention turn-based combat. Yet games like Final Fantasy XII, 14, Tactics, and the 7 remakes all...
Tactics is not... When people talk about the combat of Final Fantasy, they don't talk about tactics, because tactics is not the same thing. Also, note how this is, besides tactics, all of these are post-classic Final Fantasy era. That's kind of the point.
All forgo turn-based combat and remain fan favorites. Ultimately, the essence...
I don't know if 12's a fan favorite.
...remakes...
12, I don't know if 12 has fans. Okay, 12 has fans, but they're like few and far between.
All forgo turn-based combat and remain fan favorites. Ultimately, the essence of Final Fantasy lies not in its adherence to a single combat style, but in its characters, storytelling, music, visuals, elements that have long defined the franchise. Regrettably, it's these very elements, particularly story and character development, that have felt lacking in recent years. This, more than any mechanical shift, is why some longtime fans have grown increasingly disillusioned with the series.
You're only going to make things worse for everyone.
Man, E33 is so good.
No.
So fucking
She chose
good.
to come. I didn't make the rules between you two.
You're fighting to change things.
You want to know something funny about E33? The voice actor for Gustav doesn't play video games. He didn't even know the context of the role he was doing. And Gustav is, like, most people's favorite character in E33. He just showed up for a job, got paid, did a fucking insane job. Let me just show you the E33 prologue. Prologue ending. No, we want to see... No, we don't just want to see the ending. We want to see the... No. We want to see the gommage. Prologue gommage. You want to see this scene. Here we go. Spoilers for the first, I don't know, 20 minutes of the game. Also, the music is done so well here as well. Let's jump ahead to the dialogue part of it. Man, this scene still gives me fucking shivers when I see it. Holy shit. I would have liked to have played this on stream, but I'm kind of happy I didn't. I really am kind of happy I didn't.
I'm here.
Everything about this fucking scene, man. I thought there was more voice acting here. Let me jump ahead to the prologue ending. For anyone who hasn't played the game, this is gonna be big spoilers for the beginning of the game. So just keep that in mind. It's like first 30 minutes of the game, but even so. Let me see.
As you sail into the unknown,
I don't care about Emma's stuff.
know that Lumiere stands with you. When you bat.
You. Which. Fall back!
This opening is so fucking good, though. Everything about this is so fucking good. Fucking Xbox players, what are you doing? Stop bringing up your bullshit Xbox nonsense.
He's not following. Putain! What the fuck? Who the fuck was that?
Merde! What do we do now?
Regroup at the rally point. The Indigo Tree.
Okay, I'm forgetting how much Gustav speaks at the start of the game. Anyway, point being... Sorry, we got very sidetracked there. Point being, everyone loves Gustav, even though his voice actor didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
To change things.
For those who come after. Right?
I thought I was used to losing people.
Yeah, me too.
Rebirth.
Coming seemingly out of nowhere, Claire Obscure Expedition 33
That's the craziest part. No one knew this game was coming out. The devs had talked about it. They looked for voice actors years ago, but there was no promotion for it.
exploded onto the scene at a time when it could have easily been overshadowed by the highly anticipated Oblivion remaster. Yet, in reality, the opposite occurred. The buzz around the remaster quickly faded into the background as Claire Obscure captured the attention of the gaming community.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is a masterpiece.
No,
it is a triumph.
Yeah,
it is phenomenal. It's all I can think about. I love it dearly.
I legitimately
It's my
cannot
game of
stop
the year.
thinking about Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
But overall, I'm absolutely loving my time. This game has been awesome.
I couldn't be more happy with this game.
In fact,
I didn't want to put this game down. I didn't want to finish the game. I didn't want to get to the ending because I knew I'd be done with it.
Argue that Oblivion indirectly boosted Claire Obscure's visibility by drawing more players to Game Pass, where both titles were available. This setup effectively eliminated the financial barrier for many players, allowing them to try Claire Obscure without risk, a decision that, for many,
it still sold 4.4 million copies. They made money. Lots of money.
resulted in an unexpected obsession. So what made Claire Obscure, a game that arrived with little pre-launch hype, so compelling that it could stand alongside one of the most beloved entries in a legendary franchise?
Modern Final Fantasy fucking sucks. Writing is shit. It's full of MMO questing. It's full of way too much dialogue. No one shuts the fuck up. It's kind of moved away from a character focus to being hyper focused on the world. E33 has a god tier soundtrack. It has an amazing, innovative turn-based combat system where it's not just turn-based. Also, it is reaction-based. You have to block or parry, parry or dodge. Every character is viable. Every character has abilities that actually make sense. Is Brodie acknowledging and giving credit to the French? This is the greatest thing the French have ever done throughout their entire history. I don't think there's been a single thing in history the French have done better than this. I can't think of anything. Maybe, I don't know, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Was that made by the French team? Which team made Assassin's Creed Brotherhood? I know Ubisoft is French, but I don't know if it was the French team.
Simply put, everything. While this might sound like hyperbole, it isn't. Clair Obscur is one of the rare games that lacks any significant weaknesses. Its story presents an emotionally gripping, deeply relatable narrative.
Does E30... Yes, okay, no, I disagree. It does have some weaknesses, but they don't really show until Act 3. E33 has really bad enemy health scaling. Not in the way that they have too much health. They have too little health. So by midpoint Act 3, you are one-shotting every single enemy. Which feels kinda off. And then if you go and do the side content before you fight the final boss, you will literally skip dialogue because you do so much damage.
Narrative that resonates with players on a fundamental level. The world is breathtaking and intricately designed, featuring world building that constantly draws players to explore and discover more.
Every area is
the characters
beautiful.
are exceptionally well written.
You can do 10 million damage. You can do way more than 10 million. 10 million, that's low numbers.
Each one crafted with the nuance and depth that make them feel like real people rather than mere archetypes.
That's the other thing. No one feels like they are just there to fill an archetype. Everybody in E33 is a person. And even if you don't agree with all of their motives, you can empathize with them. You understand why everybody is doing what they are doing. Even the antagonist, you look at his position, it's kind of weird to understand it early on, but once you understand why he's doing what he's doing, everything clicks together. You're like, okay, you are doing this for I'm not going to spoil it because it's like really big deal, but you understand and you like feel that I think you're wrong, but I know why you're doing this.
The soundtrack is of such high quality that it currently sits atop the Billboard's classical charts, a testament to its powerful composition and production. And then there's the combat.
So there's kind of two antagonists. I'm not gonna spoil fully how it goes down, but like the one who writes the number, that's called the Paintress. And early on in the game, yes, I'm an E33 Yeah, so the Paintress is the one that writes the number. This is like this big golem thing. And yeah, the other antagonist is, I'm not going to say his name because that's kind of a spoiler. It's this really old dude that shows up, and he shows up in the prologue. So you're like, why is there an old person here? Everyone over the age of 33 should be dead. And then he does bad things. And as the game progresses, you work out why he's done everything he's done and why he is a bad guy, but he is bad on purpose. Or bad for a justifiable reason.
Turn-based systems so polished and engaging that it managed to capture even those typically disinterested in the genre. It stands as one of the best implementations of turn-based mechanics in recent memory, raising the bar for what the genre can achieve. In many ways, Clair Obscur has set a new standard for the industry. It has earned near-perfect critical scores, cost far less than most AAA games, and was developed by a remarkably small core team of around 30 people. These factors make it increasingly difficult for the larger, more expensive projects to justify their costs when smaller, less-known teams can deliver such polished, impactful experiences. Moving forward, any RPG will inevitably be measured against the towering benchmark set by Clair Obscur, a title that has reshaped players' expectation for quality, depth, and artistic vision in the medium. With both games covered, we return to our core question. Was Yoshida-san's assessment about turn-based games wrong?
No, yes.
The short answer is no. It's true that more action-oriented games tend to have broader appeal, particularly among younger audiences. Those that argue that Clair Obscur disproves this point are overlooking both the real issues that plagued 16.
No, I think it does disprove this point, because let's talk Persona, let's talk Baldur's Gate, let's talk Ether. Like, how many examples do you need to disprove the point that gamers don't like turn-based? How many games do... Or Infinite Wealth. How many games do you need to disprove that people still like turn-based games? Pokemon. Yes, also Pokemon.
And the fact that Clair Obscur's turn-based combat is just one component of a much larger masterpiece. In fact, had Sinfall Interactive taken a different approach, perhaps making Clair Obscur a Souls-like, or for the sake of the 16 comparison, a DMC-style action game, it likely would have still garnered widespread acclaim.
If they did it as well.
What they achieved with their turn-based combat, but rather to acknowledge a probable reality. Clair Obscur excels across the board, from narrative and world building to character development and music, elements that transcend specific gameplay systems. Moreover, just because someone enjoys Clair Obscur doesn't mean they'll necessarily embrace other turn-based games. A far better example for arguing the enduring appeal for turn-based combat is the Persona series, a franchise that has long struggled to attract mainstream audiences due to its niche high school setting, yet has recently become a beloved name in the gaming space, despite their traditionally...
Did you forget about P5?
slow start and turn-based gameplay. Ultimately, genre isn't the defining factor in a game's success. High-quality projects can transcend genre conventions, attracting players who might not typically engage with a particular style of gameplay. This is why, while Yoshida-san was technically correct in his assessment, the broader truth is that the specific genre matters less than the quality.
I like how he's saying, everything he's saying around it is saying how he's wrong, and he's like, no, he's correct.
And execution of the final product. And that wraps up our discussion. If you enjoyed this style of video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And if you want to check out another one of my videos, consider this one in the corner.
Rip
But with all that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
You know what? We'll check out that other one as well. Why not? Where is it? Persona 3 Reload also became Atlus's fastest selling game, selling 1 million copies in the first week. Wow. Wow. Arcadiris did a reaction to the Anime Man Tourism video. Ooh, definitely check that one out afterwards. I want to check this out first. And I'll probably bundle them into one clip. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, why does E33 feel like FF10?
They were diving into the striking...
Man, this intro is so fucking good. Holy shit. Holy shit, this intro is so good.
...similarities between two games separated by over 2 decades. Final Fantasy X and the brand new Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now at first glance, these seem completely different. One's a classic JRPG fish out of water story about defeating a colossal monster. The other is a dark fantasy about a mysterious entity.
Can I just, you know, we're at this video, this react is always already gonna be way too fucking long anyways. Let me just play the FF10 intro. At least part of it. Just look at this. This is so cool. Everything about this is so cool. Except that part. We don't care about the Square Enix. Why is their player so bad? What? YouTube, fix your goddamn player. Like, look at this. What? Why is this the music that plays? Like, if you've not played 10, just this intro for itself. Yo, it's cosmic B-roll music. Oh my god, yeah, basically is. And look, the introduction for Auron. How could you not immediately think this guy's a fucking badass? You don't know anything about him. You know he's the coolest fucking dude. You don't know what's happening? What is this ball game they're playing? Doesn't fucking matter at all. Nothing at all. He just slowly walks away as the city's collapsing. Oh, man. Man, Auron's so fucking cool. Just everything about this is so fucking cool. Anyway, back to the main video.
Who erases people from existence based on their age. Now, it's no secret that Claire Obscure takes a lot of inspiration from the Final Fantasy series, and the creators have been very open about that. But if you dig a little bit deeper, you're going to find that they share some shocking parallels that go way beyond surface level. And if that's not enough to convince you that I've saved a bombshell for last that some Final Fantasy fans just don't know, word of warning, there are major story spoilers for both games here.
Okay.
Let's start with the most obvious. In Final Fantasy X, there's a giant
there it
creature
is.
called Sin that appears cyclically, bringing massive destruction. The only way to stop it, temporarily, is for summoners to sacrifice their lives in a ritual that brings about the calm, or a period of peace. But Sin always returns, meaning this cycle of heroic sacrifice continues endlessly.
She has a lot with
Each
Shadow Hearts
generation
and Legend of
accepts
Dragoon as
that they
well.
must
Those
make
games I've
grand
not played.
sacrifices for temporary relief. In Claire Obscure, there's a figure called the Paintress, who awakens once a year and paints a number on a massive stone monolith. Everyone who has reached that age instantly vanishes forever. Not dies, but just completely ceases to exist. This year it's 33, next year it'll be 32. The countdown is relentless and absolute. Both cycles are maintained by grieving figures trying to protect what they love. Yu Yevon maintains Sin's cycle to preserve his destroyed city's dream version. In Claire Obscure, the Paintress is actually Aline, a mother struggling against an outside force.
Oh god, we are spoiling the entire game. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, there's gonna be big spoilers for this one.
In Claire Obscure, the Paintress is actually Aline, a mother struggling against an outside force, trying to protect as many people as she can. Both games use this ticking clock mechanism not just for urgency, but to explore how entire civilizations cope with inevitable doom. Journeys and lies. Both games follow a typical journey structure, but both have a crazy twist.
I love that the game has an overworld and not a world, like a open world. Overworlds are such a... They're a lost art. I wish more games had overworlds instead of open worlds. Overworlds are so cool.
Both games follow a typical journey structure, but both have a crazy twist. FF10 follows Yuna, a young summoner on her pilgrimage to defeat Sin. She travels from temple to temple across the world, gathering powerful spirit creatures called Aeons, knowing that the journey will end with her death. Expedition 33 follows a similar progression-based journey across a mysterious landmass known as the Continent. Our heroes venture into unknown territory to reach and destroy the Paintress. They're following in the footsteps of many previous expeditions that all failed. While not called a pilgrimage, it follows the same structural pattern, a sacred mission, and an ultimate destination that holds the key to salvation. And both journeys are built on lies. Yuna's been told she's bringing lasting peace, but she's actually just perpetuating a cycle of temporary fixes. The expeditioners think they're on a straightforward mission to save humanity, but the truth about their world is far more complex and disturbing. Both games use this journey structure to slowly peel back layers of deception, revealing that what seemed like a heroic quest was actually part.
Who is your favorite Final Fantasy heroine? Heroine? Female lead. Because mine is Yuna. Absolutely Yuna. And I know for a lot of people their answer is immediately Tifa, but no. Yuna. Yuna 100%.
part of a much larger, more tragic system. Breaking the cycle of sacrifice. Both games reject the idea that sacrifice is necessary for salvation. In FF10, the Yevon religious system is built around accepting that summoners must sacrifice themselves to bring temporary peace. Generations have died believing this sacrifice is noble and necessary, but our heroes are determined to find a way to destroy sin permanently without anyone having to die. Well, kinda, but we'll talk about that. Clair Obscur takes a similar approach but gets even darker. Previous expeditions accepted that they'd likely die trying to stop the Paintress, but at least they'd make the attempt. The system becomes so twisted that
especially Expedition 60, who are fucking JoJo characters. So throughout the game, there are journals of the previous expeditions, and Expedition 60, they're like unironically like JoJo Part 2 characters. Maybe like early JoJo. These are people that their entire solution to every problem is just punch it. Just fucking punch it. So there's a barrier that blocks off people getting into the Paintress. Anyone who touches it just dies. Except for 60. 60 just walked through it. They just muscled through it. And so 60 also, they worked out everything that you as the player work out throughout the game, they worked out. And they were running out of time before the gommage happens. So what 60 did is, instead of like taking a boat back or something to get back to the main city, they swam back. They swam back over hundreds of kilometers, and just before gommaging, just before getting to the city, they had their gommage. And the entire game wouldn't have happened if they managed to swim a few extra meters.
Even supposed protectors like the painted versions of Renoir and Verso start seeing the volunteers as acceptable losses to protect the family's secrets. Both games ask the same.
My other favorite journal are the people that just ate some funny looking mushrooms and just died. Like 5 minutes into their expedition, they got hungry and just died. Because they're morons.
Same crucial question. What if the necessary sacrifice everyone accepts isn't actually necessary? What if there's another option that nobody's considering because they were too trapped in a self-defeating pattern? Next, we talk about hidden manipulators, but just a brief reminder that if you're liking this video, click the like button and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Hidden manipulators. Let's talk about the puppet masters behind these deadly cycles, and this is where the parallels get really specific. In FF10, Yu Yevon was once the leader of the ancient city of Zanarkand. When his civilization was destroyed in a war, his desperate attempt to preserve it created Dream Zanarkand and the Sin Cycle. Yu Yevon isn't consciously orchestrating the summoner system, he's become a mindless force, endlessly repeating the same protective instinct. His grief has reduced him to unconsciously perpetuating the very cycle that prevents his world from healing. Clair Obscur reveals a strikingly parallel manipulator in the painted version of Renoir. Like Yu Yevon, he operates from the shadows, manipulating the expedition cycles to protect what he's trying to preserve, the painted world and his family. Painted Renoir has become obsessed with maintaining the canvas reality, orchestrating the deaths of expedition after expedition to keep his artificial world intact. Just like Yu Yevon, his protective instinct has become the source of endless suffering. Yu Yevon's attempt to preserve Zanarkand through dreams requires endless summoner deaths to maintain Sin. Renoir's attempt to preserve his family requires expeditions to die so the Paintress may live. Both games show us how grief and desperation can transform protectors into the very forces that perpetuate extraordinary suffering. Character
Ben did such a good job as that.
Character similarities between these games are wild once you start.
Yeah, the problem is no one's as racist as Waka. That's the problem.
Looking for them. First, we have the mysterious mentor. Orin from FF10 and Verso from Clair Obscur are practically the same archetype. Both are enigmatic figures with unnaturally long lives who join the party with hidden agendas. And they're both technically dead. Orin is an unsent, someone who died but refused to pass on because he had unfinished business. Verso is a painted representation of the real Verso who's already died. Both serve as the experienced guide who knows more that they're letting on, and both carry guilt over violence in their past. Then we have the shifting protagonist. Both games shift their main character focus.
You're not gonna spoil this. If this video spoils every single plot point of I wonder if it's gonna spoil every single plot point of E33.
As the story unfolds. FF10 initially seems like it's about Titus, the outsider fish out of water, but as the game moves on, it starts to become more about Yuna's story of pilgrimage and sacrifice. Clair Obscur starts with Gustav leading the expedition, but after his death, the narrative shifts to...
We are actually just saying Okay, yeah, this really does have E33 spoilers.
Verso, and eventually it becomes shared with Mael once hidden identities are revealed. Then there's the Outsiders. Both games feature parties where most members are from one world, with one character.
Spoilers for E33. Who's Gustav in the real world? Gustav is nobody in the real world. Gustav is Gustav. He is a creation in the painted world.
Character who doesn't understand their true nature. In FF10, Titus is from a dream version of a destroyed city. In Clair Obscur, Mael is from the real world but doesn't realize this because her memories have been sealed. The Family Tragedy Foundation. Both games are built on a foundational tragedy and generational trauma. In FF10, we have the tragedy of three friends: Jecht, Titus's father; Braska, Yuna's father; and Orin. Jecht becomes sin itself, Braska dies as a summoner, and Orin becomes an unsent, driven by guilt. Their tragedy drives the story, with Titus having to confront his father's transformation into the world's greatest threat. In Clair Obscur,
I do appreciate that you're saying Titus, even though people are determined to say, oh no, it's not Titus, it's Titus. It's Titus. Don't care. Don't care. It's Titus.
Sendra family follows a similar pattern. When Verso dies, the family fractures.
It's
Alicia
Titus.
retreats in the guilt, Leah seeks revenge, and Aline withdraws into a painted world. Renoir tries desperately to hold everyone together. Their grief literally breaks reality in the painted world, creating the expedition cycle and the gommage, the yearly mass death. Trauma doesn't just affect individuals in both games, it reshapes entire realities. Yu Yevon creates Dream Zanarkand and traps countless dream people in an existence dependent on perpetual suffering. In Clair Obscur, one family's inability to process loss creates an alternate reality where people live and die according to the rhythms of their unresolved grief. Both games ask a very similar, difficult question. How many need to suffer for one's inability to heal? Found family dynamics. The found family concept is nothing new to RPGs. It exists across hundreds of games. Both of these games center around groups of strangers who become each other's chosen family. Their relationships develop through shared hardship and knowing their time together is limited. Expedition 33's core group bonds through their shared fate and determination to save their world. But there's a tragic irony. Mael's relationships are all built on a lie. She's experiencing genuine love and friendship, but it's all constructed because she's actually Alicia in the real world. Just like how Titus's relationships are real even though he's technically a dream. The devastating cost of victory. Both stories break your heart in the same way. Winning means choosing which world gets to exist. FF10's victory requires erasing the Dream City and everyone in it, including Titus. Yuna saves her world but loses the person she fell in love with. In Clair Obscur, Verso realizes that saving the real world means erasing the painted world and everyone in it, including himself. Mael discovers she's not from this world and has to choose between returning to a life she doesn't remember or staying in a fabricated world with people she genuinely loves. Both games make us grapple with mass erasure, though in different ways. FF10 makes us complicit witnesses to Titus and his world's erasure, while Clair Obscur forces us to actively choose to erase one reality.
I made a save before the ending and just chose both.
For another. Both leave us wrestling with the same uncomfortable question. What's the moral cost when saving one world means erasing another filled with conscious beings? So, did Clair Obscur borrow a lot from FF10? Yeah, probably. And that's okay. The fact that FF10 still inspires good games decades later It's fantastic for those of us that grew up with the classics and get to experience that feeling all over again. As for new generations, or for those who come after, they get to discover a beautiful and complex story for the first time. So just in case you're still not convinced of FF10's influence on Expedition 33, you remember that little thing called the gommage where people of a certain age are wiped out? Well, in its early stages, FF10 was actually going to be called 17, and the story was that a mysterious pandemic was killing people at that age. Have you played both games? Did you notice these parallels, or did I miss any connections? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit the like button and subscribe for more.
That was fun. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I love both FF10 and E33. I can complain about things for sure, but overall I do love the games. Now I'm curious about the early FF10 concept. I am curious as well. If anyone knows about that, I would love to see it.